Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 27, Text 14. Gandharvya tatra she asya maitonya cha sita sitaha pravritya vilampante sarvakama vinirmitam. Gandharvyaha, Gandharvis, Tadrishihi, similarly, Asya of Chandavega, Maitunyaha, companions for sexual intercourse, Cha, also Sita, white, Asitaha, black. Pravartyaha, by surrounding, Vilampanti, they plundered, Sarvakama, all kinds of desirable objects, Vinirmitam, manufactured. Translation: along with Chandavega were as many female Gandharvis as there were soldiers, and all of them repetitively plundered all the paraphernalia for sense enjoyment. Please respond. Along with Chandavega were as many female Gandharvis as there were soldiers, and all of them repetitively plundered all the paraphernalia for sense enjoyment. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The days have been compared to the soldiers of Chandavega. Night is generally a time for sex enjoyment. Days are considered to be white and nights are considered to be black. Or from another point of view, there are two kinds of night, black nights and white nights. All these days and nights combine to pass away our span of life and everything we manufacture for sense gratification. Material activity means manufacturing things for sense gratification. Scientists are conducting research to find out how we can satisfy our senses more and more elaborately. In this Kali Yuga, the demonic mentality is employed in manufacturing various machines to facilitate the process of sense gratification. There are so many machines for ordinary household activities. There are machines for washing dishes, cleansing the floor, shaving, clipping hair. Today everything is done by machine. All these facilities for sense gratification are described in this verse as Sarvakama Vinirmitam. The time factor, however, is so strong that not only is our span of life been expanded, but all the machines and facilities for sense gratification are deteriorating. Therefore, in this verse, the word vilampanti, plundering, is used. Everything is being plundered from the very beginning of our lives. This plundering of our possession and lifespan begins with the day of our birth. One day will come when death will finish everything and the living entity will have to enter another body to begin another chapter of life and again begin the cycle of material sense gratification. Prahlad Maharaj described this process as punas charvita charvananam. Materialistic life means chewing the tooth again and again. The central point of material life is sense gratification. In different types of body, the living entity enjoys various senses, and through creating various types of facility, he chews the tooth. Whether we squeeze sugar out of the sugar cane with our teeth or a machine, the result is the same, sugar cane juice. We may discover many ways to squeeze the juice out of sugar cane, but the result is the same. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnanam Gna Shalakaya Chakshuzan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Satpitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamam Dadati Swaparandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sakajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Shadvitam Shabdutam Parajanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaganvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchna Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shavanu Shuta Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaram Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Naminen Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharinen Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarinen Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here Puranjan, his life is going to be finished. So Narada Muni is describing. So his life is going to be finished because just like it says in that verse, when the sun and the sunset, they robs the life of everybody. Huh? 2, 3. So you see here in this verse, Ahur harati vaipumsam ujjan astam chayan asau tasya artaya chano nitta uttama shloka. I think this thing has got a lot of hands on it, this stuff. You got to spend all day chasing the hands on my ears. Next time you bring this garment, please try to see if you can make it a little bit ant-proof. Tasyarte yachano nita uttama shloka vartaya. Both by the rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone. Understand? Except for one who utilizes the time for this by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. In other words, the sun robs everyone of their life. Every second gone is lost. You cannot get it back. I think Chanakya Pandit said one verse, right? Yeah, Chanakya Pandit. What he says? You cannot buy back 1 second with millions of dollars. Not possible. I think that's the verse. Yeah? What is it, Chanakya Pandit? Can you take it up? Prabhupada quotes many times. I think it's inside his book. Chanakya Pandit. Where is that found? Ayushya Pandit. 30 is sloka 34. To search. Can you search for me? So here it says, even one moment of lifespan cannot be regained for millions of gold coins. Therefore, what greater loss is there than time spent uselessly? He says in this verse. So 1 second gone cannot be regained with millions of dollars. You cannot. It's gone. So what greater loss be there than time spent uselessly? So as even Krishna also said in the Bhagavad Gita, right? You know, time I am, destroyer of the three worlds. What verse is that? 11. 11? 30? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, time I am the great destroyer of the world, and I have come here to destroy all people. So you try to understand this time is manifested in the material world. In the spiritual world there is no time. Only in the material world this time is there. Time distinguishes between past, present and future. Whereas in the spiritual world there is only no past and no future, only present. You know? Only present. So this past, present, future is all controlled by time. See? And you are always living, you cannot live in the present, either the past or the future. Already 1 second past gone already, so the future is coming. So your situation is always moving. So therefore time which is used, how are they used? What is the usage of this time by a normal person? This is explained. What is that explained? 2, 1, 3. This is how it has been utilized. This is how everybody is using time. Nidraya hriyate naktam vyavayena cha vavyaha diva cha arteha rajan kutumba bhare bharanena va. These are very heavy verses, you know. Immediately Sukadev Goswami, he is starting his class and he is speaking like this. Everybody say, I am very bold, you know. They say, wow, Prabhu is very direct. How much more direct Sukadev is? He just sat on the Vyasasana and he started talking to Parikshit Maharaj. He just starting only. And what he is saying, you see here what he is saying. You like to hear this? Can you read, your householders, you please read. Refresh your memory, you read. Please, read loud. Okay? A heavy verse, and he is speaking this, and we say we are heavy. What is this? Maybe I shouldn't quote this kind of verses. We should not. Like some people give class, they say you follow the 3 principles. What is that? No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication. They don't speak about illicit sex. It's too heavy subject. This is nonsense. You understand? The lifetime of such an envious householder is passed at night either in sleeping or in sex indulgence. And in the daytime, either in making money or maintaining family members. There are two jobs only the householder is doing. Now don't talk about other things, eating, sleeping, mating, but this is the main core. They say core activities. Morning, how to get money. Night time, sleeping or sex life. Okay? You know, I am not saying these things. This is Shastra. Understand? So you see how this whole idea of sense gratification is deeply embedded in the heart. You know, it is very, that's why Krishna says, Kama, what is that? Hrit Rogam. The disease of the heart is lust. There is a disease of the, he didn't say this is what the happiness of the heart. This is the what? Disease of the heart. Why it is said like that? Why? Why it is said as a disease? Because sense gratification does not give us the solution to solving our problems. The disease only destroys us. Does the disease save us? The disease destroys us. And what does it do? Like this, it is explained here. In this verse, simply by material birth, human beings become attached within their mind to personal sense enjoyment. They become attached to, one is sense gratification. Another thing is long duration of life. They want what? Long life. They don't want a short life. They want to live long. And then sense activities, bodily strength. I see everybody is going to gym, workout, 4 o'clock in the morning. I was going where? Going to the gym. Young guy, why are you doing? Say, Mangala Arati, please, no, Prabhu, I am busy, I am going to work out. I said, why you want to work out? Otherwise I cannot attract the girls. Okay? The whole idea, what? See? Bodily strength, then sexual potency, that's the whole name of the game. The whole game is what? How to be sexually potent. And friends and family. Their mind are thus absorbed in that which defeats their actual self-interest. This is explained here. Defeats the self-interest. It doesn't say what enhance the self-interest, it defeats. You understand? That's why this sense gratification brings about sinful activities. Sinful activities bewilder your consciousness and leads one to suffering. And suffering means going to hellish life. Hellish life means what? Coming back again, taking lower birth. And in this way, it doesn't pay. It is so much of pain just for some pleasure. You understand? That's why you see among the ashram, how many ashrams are there? How many ashrams are there? Only one ashram, eating ashram. What ashrams are there? How many ashrams are there? Jai Shri Radha. How many ashrams are there? Prabhu, how many ashrams are there? How many ashrams? 4, only 4. How many ashrams are there? How many ashrams are there? 4 spiritual and 4 social. Varna ashram. So how many are there? Together 8. So what is their ashram? What is the ashram? What? What is the ashram? He doesn't know because he is Bengali. You know? We have to speak to him in Bengali language. What is that? Can anyone help? What about you? You know? What is the boy at the back? You don't know? He? You know? What is that? Brahmachari? Grahastha? Vanaprastha? Sannyas. Very good. So among these 4 ashrams, only one ashram is given concession for dealing with sense gratification. Only? Which one? Sannyas. Huh? The sannyas is given concession, right? Which ashram? Grahastha. So the Grahastha ashram is only ashram that is given facility for sense gratification. The other 3 absolutely abstaining. That's why it's explained here as 2 paths, you know. You know the verse? Pravartam cha nirvirtam cha divividam karma vaidikam avartate pravartena nirvritena ashnute mritam. Two paths are there. According to the Vedas, there are 2 kinds of activities. There is no 3 or 4, only 2. Understand? Only 2. Pravarti and nirvriti. Pravarti activities involved in raising oneself from a lower to a higher condition of materialistic life. And that is what everyone is doing. The whole program is trying to what? Raise one from the lower position to higher position. That's all they are trying. Correct? Higher condition of materialistic life. Whereas nivritti means the cessation of material desire. Ceasing what? Material. Through pravritti activities, one suffers from material entanglement. But by nivritti activities, one is purified and becomes fit to enjoy eternal blissful life. See the 2 conditions. One you are put into suffering, another one is put into liberation. Let's read the purport. In the Bhagavad, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 16.7, pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidur asuraha. The asuras, non-devotees, cannot distinguish between the pravritti and nivritti. Whatever they like, they do. Such persons think themselves independent of the strong material nature, and therefore they are irresponsible and do not care to act piously. Indeed, they do not distinguish between the pious and the impious activity. Bhakti, of course, does not depend on pious or impious activity, as stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1-6. Savai pumso paro dharmo yatho bhakti ajokchaje haituke pratihatam yayatma suprasidati. The supreme occupation, dharma for all humanity is that by which man can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted in order to completely satisfy the self. Nonetheless, those who act piously have a better chance to become devotees. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 7:16, Chaturvidha bhajante mam janaha sukirtino arjuna O Arjuna, 4 kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me. One who takes to devotional service even with some material motive is considered pious because he has come to Krishna. He will gradually come to the stage of bhakti. Then, like Dhruva Maharaj, he will refuse to accept any material benediction from the Lord. Swami Kritarthosmin Varam Na Yache. Madhya 22:42. Therefore, even if one is materially inclined, one may take to the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram or Gora and Nitai, so that he will very soon be purified of all material desires. Chipram bhavati dharmatma satsvat shanti nigachyati. As soon as one is free from inclination toward pious and impious activities, he becomes a perfect candidate for returning home back to Godhead. So you see, this is the explanation Prabhupada is giving. So pravritti marga and nivritti marga. One is trying to improve your material position, another one is trying to end your material life. The two positions. But everyone is addicted to increasing their material status of life. In fact, someone gave me a snapshot of someone conducting some class, said Bhagavatam, how to use Bhagavatam to become materially successful. I was a little bit astounded. How to use Bhagavatam to be materially successful? How to you manage family and business by Bhagavatam? How to manage family and business by using Bhagavatam? Can you tell me where is the verse like this?
Best ways to excel in business and family life.
How to?
Best ways to excel.
Best way to excel in business and family life. This is both. What is that verse carrying Utvato Vimudan? 7:9? 7:9, 7:9? 43. See, in this verse, Naivod vijayat paraturathyayan vaitaranyas tvat virya ghayana mahamrita makna chitah sochetato vimukka setasa indriyartha maya sukaya bharam utvato vimudan. It's a very nice verse that explains this whole philosophy. O best of the great personalities, I am not at all afraid of material existence. For wherever I stay, I am fully absorbed in thoughts of your glories and activities. My concern is only for these fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness. Very perfect words. My concern is only for these fools and rascals who are making. How Prabhupada write the translation? They say I am direct. How much more direct Prabhupada is?
Prabhupada different level.
Oh, Prabhupada can say, we cannot say. Well, at least we repeat, no? That much we do. Is that wrong to repeat? It's a sin. Prabhu, you cannot repeat these things. Is it? At least, okay, I don't repeat, I am reading it. Is that bad? So my concern is only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness and maintaining their families, societies and countries. I am simply concerned with love for them. Utvata, Maya Utvata means carrying Bharam, Kutumba Bharam. You didn't say here, what is Kutumba? Udvato means carrying. Huh? What is this here? Can see this word? Maya Sukhaya Bharam. Utvatoho Vimudan. He is carrying this bharam. What is this bharam? Huh? Kutumba bharam. Just now you said Kutumba bharenena va. So this bharam is referring to this family attachment, so many things. Weight. Bharam actually in Sanskrit means useless weight, you know. You know, when you say bharam, bharam means what? Useful weight or useless weight?
No, bharam is just weight.
But usually it is something is a negative.
Bharam.
Burden. It's a burden, that's right. It is not something useful. It is a burden. You understand? So that's why it is called bharam, weight. Actually there is another verse where Narada Muni is saying he is shifting this bharam from one shoulder to another shoulder to the head, 429. You know, he is doing this, he is putting here and then he is penning here, then he puts here, and putting, then he puts on the head. Like this, he is shifting this. But all he had to do is throw it down. What is that? 429, 30. A man may carry a burden on his head. Let's see the Sanskrit. Again, yatahe purusho bharam. That is the word burden. Shirasa gurum utvahan tam skandena cha adyate tata sarva pratikriyaha. Again, same point. A man may carry a burden on his head. When he feels it to be too heavy, he sometimes gives relief to his head by putting the burden on his shoulder. And in this way he tries to relieve himself of the burden. However, whatever process he desires, whatever process he devises to counteract the burden, does nothing more than put the same burden from one place to another. The only way to counteract is to what? Throw it down. That you will not do. Why you will not throw the burden down? Attachment. Right? See? So this is the problem. This is a good description of an attempt to transfer a burden from one place to another. When one gets tired of keeping a burden on his head, he will place it on the shoulder. It does not mean that he has become free from the strains of carrying the burden. Similarly, human society in the name of civilization is creating one kind of trouble to avoid another kind of trouble. In contemporary civilization, we see that there are many automobiles manufactured to carry us swiftly from one place to another. But at the same time, we have created other problems. We have to construct so many roads, and yet these roads are insufficient to cope with the automobile congestion and traffic jams. There are also problems of air pollution and fuel shortage. The conclusion is that the process we manufacture to counteract and minimize our distress do not actually put an end to our pain. It is all simply illusion. We simply place the burden from the head to the shoulder. The only real way we can minimize our problem is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and give ourselves up to His protection. The Lord, being all-powerful, can make arrangements to mitigate our painful life in material existence. This is the only solution. Right? There's a verse actually. What is that? 7:9:44. You happiness, you chasing happiness. Huh? 7? There's two words, you know. There's another one. What is the other one? 7:42.
Another is 7:9.
In this material world, every materialist desire to achieve happiness and diminish his distress, and therefore he acts accordingly. Actually, there's another one. Actually, however, one is happy as long as one does not endeavor for happiness. As soon as one begins his activity for happiness, his condition for distress begins. There's another one.
7:9. 7:9.
7:9. 7:9. 17.
1:7.
Yeah, this one. O Great One, O Supreme Lord, because of contact with displeasing circumstances and separation from pleasing circumstances, one is placed in the most regrettable position on heaven or hellish planet, as if burning in a fire of lamentation. Although there are many remedies by which to get out of miserable life, any such remedies in the material world are more miserable than the miseries themselves. Therefore, I think that the only remedy is to engage in your service. Kindly instruct me in such service. Is that very clear? So, sense gratification is only going to bring about miserable life. Now, it's not the solution. It's not the only solution is that I have to somehow or other capture the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the only solution. Even if you go to the Lord, if you have material desires, as the Prabhupada explains, yes, it's all right. But at least you go to the Lord. Whatever it is, you try to somehow or other come to Krishna. Then your life is successful. What is that?
2:3:10.
2:3:10. Akama means you have no desires. Sarvakama means you have all your desires. Moksha kama means you want to get liberation. Udaradi trivena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. A person who has a broader intelligence, whether he be full of material desires, without any material desires, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the Personality of Godhead. So the conclusion is somehow or other you get attracted to the Lord. Whether you got desires, you got no desires, or you are full of desires, or you want to get liberation, somehow or other you come to the Lord and you will be all right. You know why? Because by going to the Lord, your desires will become purified. As Krishna says here, this verse, Krishna says, if one engages in my transcendental loving service, but at the same time wants the opulence of material enjoyment, he is very, very foolish. Indeed, he is just like a person who gives up ambrosia to drink poison. Right? Since I am very intelligent, why should I give this fool material prosperity? Instead, I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet, The nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet, I make him forget illusory material enjoyment. This is the same verse as 5, 19, 27. Right? See? In fact, if you go to the Lord, you have material desires, but the Lord will purify you. That is another thing. That's why he says here, instead, I shall induce you to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusory material enjoyment. So this material enjoyment, disease, can only be forsaken if we take the medicine. What is that medicine? What is that verse? Nirvrittitasya upagyamanas. What is that?
10:1-4.
What? How much? What is that?
10:1-4.
10, 1? This verse, in this verse you see, the very important verse, Nirvrittasya. This word Nirvrittasya. The Upagiyamanad. All these words are very important. Bhava Ausadi. Shrota Mano Bhiramad. Ka Uttama Sloka Gunanuvadat Puman Virajyeta Vina Pasu Ganad. This verse is so important. See that this verse. Nivritta means release from, tasya loss of material. Tasya, nivritta tasya. Tasya means full of material desires. Asa, you know. So, how to come out of this program? Glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is performed in the Parampara system, that is, it is conveyed from spiritual master to disciple. Such glorification is relished by those no longer interested in the false temporary glorification of this cosmic manifestation. Descriptions of the Lord are the right medicine for the conditioned soul undergoing repeated birth and death. Therefore, who will not cease hearing such glorification of the Lord except a butcher or one who is killing his own self? See? Let me explain this a little bit further here in this verse. Nirvita tasya means giving up sense gratification. Upagyamanan, by glorification. Bhava means repeated birth and death. Ausadi means medicine. Normally when you take medicine, it's very bitter. Who likes this medicine? Nobody likes. But this medicine that you take, Shrotra, Manobhiramad, it's very enjoying, it's pleasing medicine. So in other words, the medicine of chanting Krishna's name, Upagyamanan, Ka Uttama Sloka, Gunanuvadat, by chanting this name of God, this is a pleasing medicine that is satisfying the Mano Abhiramad, pleasing to the mind. It is not, bitter and you don't want it. Of course, initially, spiritual life is like poison. Nobody likes it. But if you push yourself and take up the austerity, then yes, it becomes the moment you get purified in the heart, then you become very pleasing to you, very happy. So it says here, Bhava Sadi, it destroys this disease of birth and death. That is a very powerful medicine. Ka Uttama Sloka Gunanuvada, glorification of the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. This is a powerful medicine. Except who will not take it? He says here, Puman Virajeta Veena. Only those people who are like animals, killers of animals. Pasu Ganat means animal killer, or he kills his own soul. Two class of killers. So those people who are indulging in extreme sense gratification, they will not come to this platform. Understanding and accepting this renunciation. So therefore, our program is very simple. All you have to do is open the mouth and chant. Yes? What is that verse? CC 15110? Is that the verse? Yeah. The holy name of Krishna is an attractive feature of many saintly liberal people. It is the annihilator of all sinful reaction and is so powerful that safe for the dumb who cannot chant it. It is readily available to everyone, including the lowest type of man, the Chandala. The holy name of Krishna is the controller of the opulence of liberation and is identical with Krishna. When a person simply chants the holy name with his tongue, immediate effects are produced. Chanting the holy name does not depend on initiation, pious activities, or the Purusharcharya, regulative principle. Generally observed before initiation, the holy name does not wait for any of these activities. It is self-sufficient. Save the dumb. Save the who? Dumb. That means if you don't chant, that means you are equivalent to the They like to sing the song, Dum Mere Dum. Indian, when you say Hare Krishna, immediately Dum Mere Dum. Correct? And then they like to add that word there, dumb. That is so dumb. Yes? So if you don't chant, then you cannot come out of this disease. That's the only way. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam. Kalau nasteva, 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 nasteva gati. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way other than chanting Krishna. So today, if we want to escape this cycle of birth and death, which is robbing us, because our mind is simply stuck with sense gratification, the only medicine is to chant Krishna's name in a very determined manner. If you get attracted to chanting, then you can say your material life is finished. Prabhupada said that, our chanting is so powerful, it induces sleep. Bhagavatam class, is the cure for insomnia. Prabhupada said that actually. Because the moment you speak the Bhagavatam, everybody falls asleep. But those who got this problem of cannot sleep, they should hear the Bhagavatam, they fall asleep. So powerful, huh? So anyway, this is an important point that we have raised. I hope you understand this. And I think if you can revise it and see, and then you see how you can improve and chant very strictly and make your life successful. There is no other recourse than chanting Krishna's name. Then this knotted thing in the heart, this material desires in the heart will become slackened. Yes? What is that word? Huh? Slacken the heart, the knot for material enjoyment will slacken in the heart. Anyway, it is there, so you can try to refer to that and become successful. Alright, so I am going to stop here. Any questions or anybody has anything to add? Anything else to add or nothing? Any question? No questions, huh?
One verse, 2936. How to incorporate
29 what?
2.9.36. Chitram.
29,
36.
29,
36.
36, purport.
All the way down. Sanastan Nakshatra.
Oh, this is the verse spoken, this is the Chatur, this is the verse on the Bhagavatam. A very long purport is.
Somewhere here. Sanastan Nakshatra.
If even for a moment remembrance of Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, is missed, that is the greatest loss. That is the greatest illusion, and that is the greatest anomaly. Satata, what is that? Smartavya Vishnu. What's the next line? Jatujit. Vismartavya, na Jatujit, something like that, right? So we have to understand all these things and try to practice very simply, chant Hare Krishna, and your life becomes successful. Alright, we stop here. Thank you again. Hare Krishna.